also out this week, 4, which is, after the three-handed joys of The Retreat and Disappearance of Alice Creed, this one goes up to 4. So the story is good cast, visually intriguing remote warehouse. A businessman type is presented with a bound and gagged man with a bag over his head, who he is told is the lover of his wife, who he's been told to go off and get him. The guy presents it, said, this is who I've got. I have got for you the lover of your wife. Sean Pertwee is the man who's gone and got him. Here's the clip.
Right, well, this is where I leave you. Well, whatever you've got to say to us between the two of you, isn't it, really? It's got nothing to do with me. Don't let her know it's you. Not at first. In my experience, the longer you keep them guessing, the easier they are to control. Put away the rug. Don't take her hood off. And do something interesting with your voice to disguise it. And above all, enjoy.
It's a funny little film. I mean, it's the first thing to say is that it attempts to do many things that it doesn't quite pull off. I mean, the plot, because there are 4 characters, they all turn out to not quite be as you thought they were, but the setup clearly recalls 44-inch Chess, and that's a very dangerous thing to do, because 44-inch Chess, you remember John Hurt came on the programme, and we were talking about the fact that was written by, Louis Mellis and David Sinto, and it's that John Hurt described the swearing in that movie as being positively Chaucerian. You remember we couldn't play any clip.
No clips at all.
In fact, we did. We cut the swearing out, and John Hurt was then crossed because we'd messed up the rhythm of the speech. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There isn't no, but I'm just saying. But I think there was an argument that he had, because in that the whole thing is that Ray Winston is presented with apparently the lover of his wife and told to do with him. So there is a similarity in the setup there, and unfortunately, calling to mind 44-inch Chess is a very bad thing, because pretty much everything that's in that same area will pale by comparison. And I have to say, sadly, to some extent, that this does. There's also a section in which Sean Pertwee starts talking about movies, and he does that thing about talking about his favourite movies, which is very, very Tarantino-ish, characters talking about their movies whilst they're engaged in acts of violence. But then he says, my favourite movie is Reservoir Dogs, and he starts talking about Reservoir Dogs. He's like, hang about a minute, isn't it too recent? It's not postmodern, this is postmodern. You're not quoting movies in the way that Tarantino does. You're actually quoting a Tarantino movie. And he has that whole section about, you remember Michael Madsen and Stuck in the Middle with You, and you think, I wouldn't, if I was making that film, have invoked 44-inch Chest and Reservoir Dogs. So I think that that is sadly a kind of dangerous thing to do. That said, it's not. I mean, it's a good cast. Martin Compston's very good. Sean Pertwee's very good, and they are doing the most with a small stripped down setup. I mean, I have to say it didn't work for me, and it did fall short of the mark that it was aiming towards, and it didn't do itself any favours by reminding me of other movies which I admire more. But it was a solid 4-hander with a good visual style, and there are certain moments in it in which it worked quite well. I do like Sean Pertwee, and I like the fact that they embraced it with gusto and verve, even though in the end it failed for me.